Early ideas about the atom and development of the atomic theory started off in early Greek civilization. So Lysippus and Democritus have the idea about something in every matter that is indivisible. Ibig sabihin, hindi na mahahati pa sa mas maliit na portion. So Lysippus and Democritus called this particle as atomos. However, at that time, the most prevailing idea about matter is the idea of Empedocles. So according to him, matter consists only of four core elements: fire, air, water, and earth. For 200 years, this idea was believed until John Dalton conducted the first experiment showing that matter consists really of very tiny particles, which he then called atoms. So the first model of the atom was the billiard ball model. So it was proposed by John Dalton, and it suggests that atoms are tiny solid particles and it does not contain any other smaller parts, just like a billiard ball. Sometimes it is also called the ping pong ball model. However, another scientist conducted an experiment and he discovered that atom consists of smaller particles. So this was the plum pudding model, which was proposed by Joseph John Thomson or J.J. Thomson. And because of his discovery of the negatively charged particle of the atom, which is the electron, he suggests that atoms contain negatively charged particles which is embedded on a positive sphere. So it is randomly distributed, just like raisins or plums distributed on top of a pudding. That's why it is called the plum pudding model. So you have here the positive sphere. Okay, this red one is the positive sphere of the atom, and these white negative charges are the electrons. However, another model was proposed by Ernest Rutherford when he accidentally discovered about the protons and the nucleus of the atom. So in his experiment, which is the gold foil experiment, he bombarded um, the gold foil with alpha particles. And he said that if atoms are really solid, the alpha particle should be coming right back into the direction from which it came from. However, to his surprise, the alpha particles goes through the gold foil. So he concluded that atoms are mostly empty space and it consists of tiny, dense core which he called the nucleus of the atom. He believed that the negatively charged electrons move around the nucleus. So here we have the tiny nucleus at the center, and this gray part is the system of electrons, which is mostly empty space. So you have here the orbit. It is where the electrons roam around the nucleus of the atom. So another model was proposed by Niels Bohr, which is the solar system model. So in this model, Bohr suggests that atoms consist of quantized orbits where electrons are found. He said that instead of only one orbit for all the electrons are located in different orbits, just like the planets are located in their own orbits around the sun. So when we say quantized, this means that they have different energies. So electrons are found in these orbits. They are distributed in these orbits which contain different energy levels. And he agreed with Ernest Rutherford that electrons move around the tiny nucleus. Okay, so this is how the solar system model looks like. So you have the nucleus. He believed that there is a tiny dense nucleus. And here are the orbits which are quantized. And the electrons are moving around the nucleus of the atom following these orbits. Okay, just like the different planets are following their orbits around the sun, their path around the sun. So he believed that the spaces in between are empty spaces. So the most acceptable model of the atom to date is the electron cloud model. So it was proposed by Erwin Schrödinger, and this model suggests that electrons do not occupy an exact position around the nucleus. So instead of a visible line of orbit, he suggests that electrons move in orbitals that form clouds of electrons, just like this one. So you have here the nucleus of the atom, and instead of a distinguished line of orbit, he suggested that this appears to be somewhat a cloud, wherein the densest portion is the portion where electrons can be mostly found. But you cannot, or you can never pinpoint the location, the exact location of uh, the electron around the nucleus as being discussed by other scientists, because the electrons are constantly moving around the nucleus. With that movement, they form clouds. So because of the development of the atomic models and the discovery of the different subatomic particles, the modern atomic theory was put forward. So according to the theory, matter consists of tiny particles called atoms. So it's no longer said to be indivisible because it is proven that it consists of tinier portion, subatomic particles. And atoms of the same element are alike in size, mass, and structure. The third postulate, atoms of different elements are different in size, mass, and structure. The fourth postulate, atoms of different elements combine with other elements to form substance called molecules of compound. So say for example, when two atoms of hydrogen combine with one atom of oxygen, they will form molecule of water. When one atom of sodium combine with one atom of chlorine, they will form one molecule of sodium chloride or table salt. So when atoms combine, they form another substance which is now called molecules of a compound. And lastly, atoms are neither created nor destroyed in an ordinary chemical reaction, but instead, uh, they are retained and they may just regroup. However, in our next lesson, we will find that in the periodic table, there is an exemption for this postulate. And we will discuss that next week. So thank you for listening.